It's the Poker News Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 868th episode of the Poker News Podcast. I am Chad Holloway at Level 9 Studio in Las Vegas with Kyna England and Mike Holtz. We've got a good one. This is going to be a lot of talk. Something exciting happened with Kyna. We're going to save that for a minute, though. First, we're going to jump into the drama this week.
Oh, boy.
This was Vanessa Kade versus Ryan Depaulo. Kevin Martin getting in the mix. And,
no, it was a triple threat match.
Versus Charlie Carrel versus Ben CB.
So it all started off when it was announced that Benjamin Rolle, was going to be the new ambassador for Coin Poker. That inspired Vanessa Kade to send out a tweet in which she criticized said signing as an ambassador because it was a few months ago. I don't even remember. 3 months ago, 6 months ago. I don't
I feel
know
like it was
sure.
during the series. Like it was during the World Series that he tweeted that.
Yeah, and it was Ben CB put out a tweet at the time. Well, what do you remember? I should look it up and have this.
It was just saying that women aren't going to be as good at poker because they're not as competitive overall as men.
And that spurred a lot of controversy at the time. And there was a fair amount of people who defended him, but also a fair amount of people who weren't so happy, Vanessa Kade being among them. At the time, I do think there were a lot of women who tried to engage Ben CB as well, but he kind of doubled down, tripled down, if I remember, on his comments. Now, fast forward to this, he gets signed as an ambassador, and Vanessa Kade tweets out that basically like, come on. Like, you got a guy who she's claiming is sexist, and he's going to be an ambassador. He's getting rewarded for it. That, in turn, inspired Ryan Depaulo to tweet out. So this is an interesting tweet. It was a few days ago as we're recording this. It said, "You produce no content, you do not stream anymore, and you were a negative, toxic life suck as a coworker." They both represented ACR at one point. "You were a horrible force, but luckily not relevant enough to have an equal succubus forces on the industry," so on and so forth. It was Ryan Depaulo getting in the mix, and that inspired her to come back. It was the drama this week. What did you guys make of this whole thing?
I'm going to go ahead and take the stance that I don't think Ryan Depaulo is sexist. I think he's kind of a jerk sometimes. I love Ryan too. Like, I love him. He's just overall kind of a jerk. But when you make comments like that, I think, I don't know, it felt like it was like an attack on Vanessa, which he doesn't like her as a person. Fine. People are allowed to not like each other. But when you make comments like that, it opens up the poker community to just say vile things about women and women in poker in general. And Vanessa, so a lot of the comments, just people came in his replies saying, yeah, look at women being emotional. It's always a sexist thing, women at the table. And there were a lot of generalizations made about women in poker. And I don't think that's fair, when really Ryan was meaning to say, I don't think Vanessa's right here, specifically Vanessa, right? Like, that was my take on it.
Mike, how about you?
I was going to let Kyna talk first before I fired any bullets at anybody in this situation. All right, so I know Ryan. I've met Vanessa a couple times. I've only had good interactions with both of them in person. Ryan's hilarious. I like his content.
I do too. I just want to say that, even though I said I think he's kind of a jerk sometimes, I love his content.
No,
I watch his content all the time.
But you're right. Ryan can be a jerk. I think Ryan knows that.
Yes.
It's pretty obvious he knows that. And Ryan's very not PC. He's going to say what comes to his mind, whether you think that's right or wrong. That's up to you, right? God, this whole situation's pretty crazy. I mean, the Ben CB part, right? When he comes out and says that, like, is the average woman as competitive as the average man, though?
I mean, it certainly wouldn't be in, like, professional sports in terms of, that's why we have the WNBA, we have the NBA. Right?
Yeah.
You don't see any women football players in those aspects, but I think the argument might be made that, poker is now a mind sport.
Sure.
And therefore it could be equal. I don't know how it compares in something like chess. Like, do men and women compete at the same time in chess?
They do, but men do dominate in chess. They have a separate grandmaster title for women, the WGM, I believe. And in general, no, women are not as good at chess as men. I think it's a really sticky situation, I don't even want to, talking about it is even sketchy, right? Like,
well, it just felt like too, I think you might be right. Just, it is noticeable based on how many fewer women are currently in poker. But that's not to say that the women that are in poker are not as competitive as the men that are in poker. And I think he made a generalization where he might have referenced women specifically in poker. I'm not sure. I can't remember the tweet, but I think it just brings out when people, when notorious, a lot of figures in the public come out and say stuff like that, it just opens the comments for people to say nasty things about women in poker. And as a figurehead, you shouldn't take that position to do that at all.
I think it's unfortunate, and I've seen this at the table so many times, where a woman sits at the table or a cocktail waitress is attractive, and guys will say the craziest things that you don't hear anywhere else. And on the internet too, anytime women are brought up or anything like that, I mean, it's just the internet. The comments are going to be crazy sometimes. And those parts are terrible, right? But as a whole, I think the adults in the room can have a conversation, or should be able to have a conversation over men versus women and what's natural, or is it just a situation where as a group, women haven't really been involved in those things because of how society is? I mean, I think it's fair to talk about. But with this actual situation with Ryan and with Vanessa, I will say I do see Vanessa in a lot of drama all the time. I mean, I would almost say everything I see with her is drama related. And I remember she won the $1 million online or whatever, and I remember seeing her and being like, wow, that's a hot woman winning a bunch of money. Like, I'm sure she's going to get a ton of press. And then ever since then, I've kind of only seen her involved in drama type things. And Ryan's not usually involved in drama, but I think he calls it how he sees it,
I was just going to say, it's very obvious, too, that the situation changed away from Ben CB to being Vanessa versus Ryan. It just morphed into that. And then you got Charlie Carrel saying stuff and Kevin Martin saying stuff.
He's the worst. So. Charlie Carrell is just a stain on the poker community. That guy's a wild person. He has me blocked on Twitter. But when I read, Kyna had showed me the tweet he posted, and I read it, and I was like, what are you even what is this? This has nothing to do with anything. What are you
let me
saying?
describe to the people who might not know. So first, Charlie came to the defense of Ben CB, just saying that Ben CB isn't sexist. He is an extremely high-value content creator that has worked very hard for years. The conversation of hiring him has nothing to do with the biological differences in men and women. Just basically coming to the defense of somebody who knows. I don't know Ben CB, Benjamin Rolle. I've never met him.
Sure.
He's European-based. I don't know. I work with a lot of Europeans, and there are cultural differences and cultural viewpoints, right? We're American. A lot of our audience is American-based. And the toxicity of in the U.S. right now, right? Between really the politics of it, but it spills over into every facet. I think that shapes our viewpoints in a lot of things. A lot of these people who are involved in this story aren't American, right? Vanessa Kade is Canadian. Ryan Depaulo, of course, is American. But then you have Charlie Carrel, Ben CB. Anyways, he comes to the defense saying that. But then he had a really weird take, which is the tweet you were referencing, where he said, I had a female friend and student that couldn't play poker for 1 week out of every month due to her menstrual cycle. This was her decision. She was often in crippling pain and her emotions were too out of control. To suggest that there are no examples of men having advantage over women is absurd. It goes a little bit more on and on, but basically saying because men don't have periods, they have an advantage. It would be great
if a man could have a period one time in his life and just know. I'm just putting that out there. But it is an absurd reference. Everybody deals with medical ailments. Like, a man could deal with that too. He could have crippling back pain once a month, or not be able to pee right. I don't know, constipation. That is just a medical issue, and it has nothing to do with men versus women. That is her medical issue that she has to deal with. It is not really a proper argument. But on the comments in that tweet, I don't know if you saw, somebody pulled an old Charlie video and was like, men also have to deal with this. And it was Charlie talking about how he has an abnormally large penis. And it's really hard to deal with. It actually makes life harder for him that his penis is so big. It's like this fireside chat with the mood lighting. I saw that.
Mike and I know.
It's
the
rough.
struggles you guys deal with. How does it fit in your pants? Can you sit down okay?
He's insufferable. Imagine, he's just the worst. I can't stand that guy.
Well, it got heated between, as you said, it morphed into kind of this Depaulo versus Kade, and they worked together at ACR for a while, and neither do anymore. And basically, it kind of was like shots fired. Vanessa was like, hey, I've got some receipts, basically about the treatment she experienced at the hands of Depaulo while she was with ACR. That, in turn, inspired Depaulo, who must have just woken up to take his phone laying in bed and film a couple videos, which I have pulled. These are relatively short videos, but basically saying, bring it on, check it out.
I am guilty of, upon reflection, being not nice to you when you came to join ACR. I said right away, I said, yo, welcome to the team. I'm going to tell you here because I was about to say this on Twitter that day. You're wrong on Dan Bilzerian or whatever stupid ass thing you were talking about that day that I disagreed with you on, and you were like upset, you were hurt, and even though I did it privately, I offered to cross book you. It was not nice. You posted in the group chat you were playing some 25K, you're drawing dead in, and I offered to cross book you. Again, not nice. Never harass. Yo, I'm trying to stay calm because it's so based in zero. And any ACR Team Pro, anybody will tell you, I've never in my life harassed a customer or a female streamer. I don't watch streamers. I don't, let alone female. Send any and all receipts. Any and all receipts you have. This is not true. Total lie. The biggest lie of all is that you hadn't heard of me, but no, you got fired, bro. You got fired because you said me or him, and I hadn't done anything wrong. And they said, you, dummy. You Riri. You're out. You're toxic. Go. Send it all.
All right, so there you have it. Ryan Depaulo saying bring it on. And then Vanessa did. She sent out some tweets. It was a long thread. You can read it. We have an article on Poker News where you can check it all out, but it was this long thread airing out some dirty laundry, basically. And from what I did read, come on, Ryan, you got to be a little better teammate or if you're working alongside somebody. That really wasn't too cool, I didn't think. It
seems like he did get caught a little bit. And he actually did a live on Twitter yesterday that I listened to where he really tried to explain himself. He was rambling a little bit, but I think he was really just trying to get his thoughts out. And he did say, he was like, I was terrible then. And I have since apologized, whether he did or not. I mean, he said it. He said it to, Twitter Live, that, he knows that Vanessa was calling out him being rude or inappropriate to other women. And he says, I don't know who she's talking about, but I was inappropriate to her. And I do apologize for that. So he did say that on the live. And I think he tweeted that too.
It's pretty fair. Yeah. And those texts sucked. They weren't great. Yeah.
In a work environment, especially.
Right. Yeah. If it's on your own time, whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, you can't, I wouldn't throw those in a work environment.
Well, then you have Kevin Martin. Kmart, he was with GG Poker at the same time, I think, as Vanessa Kade back in the day. He's a big streamer. He's also Canadian. He put out a tweet saying, I played cards with Vanessa Kade in Canada for years. While she won at poker, she magically created problems with everyone. It's been fascinating to watch her get attention and do the same thing on a bigger scale. And in a follow-up tweet, people asking my motivation for posting this. She constantly attacks my friends, fellow creators, and the site I represent, just providing some context to why her public opinion should be taken with a grain of salt. And then that in turn inspired Vanessa to send a tweet of her own, a rather lengthy one, too much for me to read off, but basically airing more dirty laundry about Kevin and Kevin's marital situation and personal relationships.
What did she say here?
I'll read part of it. It says,
I didn't see this part.
Yeah, so brave post from someone it appears just married and cheated on, then promptly divorced his brand new wife. It's been interesting to see
Vanessa
you drop
Kade
the fake
sucks.
nice guy, so on and so forth.
Vanessa Kade sucks. That's crazy.
I mean, yes, it sucks that she said that, but he came for her hard and she doubled down and came for him hard too.
She aired out some personal dirty stuff,
Kevin
right?
Martin is a lovely guy in person. He's lovely to hang out around with. I find him to have a nice personality, but there is Kevin Martin has been on a lot of reality shows, and there is a lot of Kevin Martin digging you can do, and that's what she's referencing, I think. And again, I'm not saying one side is right or wrong, but he came at her pretty hard. There were vile comments about her in his feed, vile comments about women in general. And I understand that's not people's intentions when they post this, that he's posting it trying to come after Vanessa, but in turn gets all these trolls coming after just women in general and saying really horrific things about her. So she doubled down and said some horrific things about
that's
him.
Not his fault,
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm not sticking up for either side. I'm just saying she did basically the same thing.
Yeah, I just feel like this. Yeah, it's like a mudslinging at this point.
Is,
but I don't know what
Yeah, no, I mean,
my first gut reaction was, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, whoa.
It's dirty. They all are coming after each other dirty now. They're digging up old receipts. It's becoming less about this was the actual issue that started, and it's more about let's fire at each other's characters. So it's I don't know what side to pick. It's just, let's just lean back and eat some popcorn and watch it all unfold.
My gut as a poker player, snap call, it's Vanessa Kade, I think.
So
Yeah.
here's my kind of take on it. First off, I agree. I don't like dirty laundry being aired in public, just in general, not necessarily in poker.
Yeah,
just
that's loose,
in
what she
life
said.
in
That's
general.
real
Yeah.
loose.
Yeah, and I do think it just went back and forth, people doubling down, getting a little bit heated. I'm glad it seemed that all parties have now since pulled back a little bit. You know, they're not engaging over and over now. It did start before the Thanksgiving holiday and kind of spilled over. And I will say with Vanessa, so I personally like Vanessa. All my interactions with her have been pleasant.
Yeah, me too.
No, me too.
Yeah, I think that I really respect what she has to say. I do, though, think I take issue sometimes with the way she delivers it or she brings it about. Same issue I have with Alan Kessler, to be frank. Like,
Yeah.
I think Alan is right more times than not, but he just doesn't have the right tact in sometimes delivering said
Agree.
message.
Yeah, it's similar. Very good comparison, actually, because we all make fun of Alan too in a different way, but in the background, we know what he's saying is legitimate, but the way that he says it and comes about. So, it's a good comparison, honestly.
Sometimes what he says is accurate.
And I do think like sometimes saying less is more,
All my
right?
bracelets are fake.
we mentioned a lot of these posts from Vanessa are rather lengthy. The one
Yeah,
about Kevin, and
right.
then she delves into the history of the games that she apparently played. Like, I think that kind of stuff is maybe unnecessary. But then again, she says, she's not representing a site right now. She's kind of like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. And to that, I guess props. But as Kevin pointed out, Mike,
Why would she represent a site though?
well, probably not anymore. She
She just doesn't have
represented.
I don't think she's a sponsor, right?
No, but why would a sponsor pick her up over anyone else?
Well, I mean, probably not now. Maybe that's why she's like,
No,
I don't care anymore.
before this,
Well,
why
that
would
GG
she?
did at one point.
But why
and-
did it? Why does she have a lot of scores or something?
She used to stream a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
She used to
Alright.
stream a lot. She, then she won the Poker Stars for $1 million, that event
Sunday
back
Millions,
then.
yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But then Dan Bilzerian got involved with GG Poker, and that's what inspired her
I guess
to
what I'm
resign
getting at
there.
kind of is like is that I think a lot of her success is owed to being a pretty woman, right? I mean, like I think she was trying to deflecting that, correct, in the Ryan tweet, and Ryan was kind of saying like you have to give it up. Like a lot of your success is because you are a woman, and if a man was in your shoes with the same accomplishments, they wouldn't have the same things, and so you have to say like, yeah. Is that crazy? Of
It
me?
might be.
You know?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of opportunities I got them because I'm a woman. Because there aren't very many of us, and people do want representation.
I
You
think
know,
that's great.
So yeah, but like I don't think she's not owning that. I don't think she's saying that.
What wasn't there like a tweet? Wasn't there a battle about her not owning that? Or
I'm not
was that,
sure.
or
I don't
something that
remember.
Ryan
There were
said?
a lot of tweets.
There's
That's
so
the
much
problem. to
Yeah,
keep on
We're
top
doing
of
our
everything.
best, guys. We're doing our
scared.
best.
I'm so scared. I don't want to talk about
They're
this.
gonna come at us in the comments and be like, "But you
No.
didn't read this." No, we definitely
Yeah,
didn't.
Let me ask
God.
this: this whole situation? Is there any winners in it whatsoever?
No, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Like, I don't think there
I'm
is
scared, man.
either. I don't
know.
think anybody comes out of this looking good.
Everyone sucks.
I
I
mean,
suck. They suck.
we
Who knows?
tried.
Here's
I don't know,
here's
man.
one
This is
interesting thing
scary.
that I saw a tweet of. I think it was from John Party, who is
Okay.
another Canadian guy. I like him a lot. He tweeted something about this whole situation and like, hey, Poker News, why are you focusing on this story? Because we did write an article about it and not focusing on the more positive stuff about women. And I almost replied, I said, you know what? I'm not going to get into the pig pen of Twitter right now, but I'll share it here is Poker News does. We do a lot of
100%.
woman-focused articles, social media, projects, what have you. And I can tell you, and I don't like this, I wish there was a way to change it, but the positive articles, it just in general, are a fraction of what this sort of stuff produces in terms of traffic, engagement,
course,
content.
yeah. Drama
Right? So we did
always.
2 profiles on 2 women who won golden passports to the WPT Freeroll that's coming up, right? Got to know them, their story, how they won. Both of these articles combined maybe got 1/10 of the traffic of the hits
Sure.
that this one article did. Now,
So basically, it's your fault, Twitter.
it's
Yeah.
not their fault. And this isn't a poker related thing. This
No,
is
just
just
human
human
It's
psychology,
human
nature.
nature.
right?
You're more interested in the drama. You want to see what was said. You want to check the receipts and everything. It's more interesting. You're right. It's human nature.
But I would challenge people that like a John Party, like read these pieces, share them, help us. I
Yeah.
really like to feature the positive stuff in poker. I like to write pieces about charity, right? And I'm telling you right now, they don't get very much engagement or traffic or
Sure,
hits. Nobody
yeah.
cares. But on the flip side, if it bleeds, it leads, as they say, right? The drama, the controversy. That's why we kind of have a show. And we've done it. We've led with other stories. We've led with, hey, Rob Gronkowski is going to be in the poker world.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit.
Dan Bilzerian selling his house. That gets lots of clicks.
Exactly. So like
That's not a great story.
the audience wants this sort of thing. And, thank you, I guess, to Vanessa and Ryan who gave us something to talk about in a rather other slow news week.
And best of luck, guys. Let's all get along.
I agree. There was a poll. Who do you side with in the above feud? 24% said Vanessa, 30% said Ryan Depaulo, and 45% said who gives a rip. And I think I'm kind of in that 45%.
Yeah, this whole thing just hurts my brain. I don't know. I'm just a stupid man. I don't know anything annianymore.
All right. Well, let's move on from this. I want to thank our sponsor for this episode, and that, of course, is the WSOP free-to-play app. You see it on the screen behind Kyna and Mike. We've got a little thing here on the table. And I actually do play every day. I go on there, play a little poker. They got PLO, No Limit Hold'em, but I'm really addicted to the Daily Blitz. I know I've mentioned it to you guys before. I'm getting pretty good at it on how to read.
I'm Daily Blitzed right now.
Yeah, it's where you get you get two hands and flashing on the screen. There's a countdown. They show you a board and you got to say, hey, which hand is the winner? Sounds easy, but it's more challenging than that. They've got video poker and a lot of other side games. Check it out. You can use the code word PokerNews and get $1 million in chips. It's free. It's on Android. It's on iPhone. Download it now and play the Daily Blitz with me. It is a lot of fun. All right. Speaking of fun, it's not going to be too much longer before you two are having fun in that WPT free roll I mentioned. Yay. Mike, you won a seat here in trivia. Kyna was crushed at the time. She was, she was very sad. But you did call your shot like 10 episodes ago or close to it.
Yeah.
You're like, I get lucky in these things.
I do. I win things a lot like this. I win drawings. I win raffles. I was shocked that the universe was broken and I hadn't just randomly been pulled already from the raffle. But I entered all the contests I could. I want to say this to the camera. I entered every single contest I could in order to try and win a pass. I looked on Twitter all the time. I did what I had to do. I entered one. I submitted a good submission to a contest and mine was picked and voted on and I won. So I will be playing also.
That is awesome.
Yes.
I wish I could be playing as well. But I didn't even try to win one because I knew I was going to WSOP Paradise.
Oh, no. You have to go to the Bahamas instead.
Right? Speaking of which, so the plan is I'm going to be in the Bahamas trying to remote host the show while you two are in studio. We've never done this before, but we're going to give it a go, test it out. Producer Scott says he thinks he can make it work. So I'm pretty excited. So we're going to try to get coverage. You guys are going to be here at WPT World Championship along with Poker News, and I'm going to be in the WSOP Paradise. We're going to be doing some fun stuff. And what else? So the free roll, there is... Well, they say there's 2,000 seats. And somebody brought up an interesting point. Like, not all 2,000 people are going to show up.
No way.
No.
It would be like 1,484.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that. I would think like 1,750.
Oh, okay.
I think people are making a go for it if they got it,
Man, I don't know. I think yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
I'm going to look up because somebody tweeted it and then I didn't even read the response, but Kevmath, of course, he is the GOAT when it comes to the information, and he's found it. So it says to the answer to the question if people didn't show up. So this is in the rules, apparently. This is an event is a freeze-out, one entry max. Players must receive the golden passport and register for a seat. Win, and the sponsors reserve the right, and it's sole and absolute discretion to register Club WPT Gold members past the registration deadline above due to extenuating circumstances up until December 13th at the end of level 4. So as I read that, I would say this is, if for some reason of the 2,000 seats, only 700 people show up, they might be like,
I don't think so,
we'll put some people in. I don't think they would either, It
doesn't seem like it's extenuating circumstances mean like if there's emergency and you're late, I think.
Yeah, that could be.
From
that makes
what
sense.
I have heard.
Yeah, they're saying, Rampage Poker's flight gets delayed.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll pop him in level 5.
I can tell you right now as we're recording this, so we have access to a shared document of everybody who is registered.
Ooh.
And so there's some pretty big names. I'm going to highlight some of them here in just a moment. Alan Kessler got a seat, by the way.
I know. He texted me the other day.
Great.
He randomly won one.
So according to this document, as we're recording this, there are almost 1,200 names on this list, which means there's still 800 seats that they got to give away somehow, some way. And they've got 10 days to do it as we're recording this.
Yeah.
I think they're giving away 300 free roll seats, right?
300 on the site if you play on the site. And then another 100 or so if you go draw from the Drum live on the 8th, 9th, or 10th. And anybody can draw. So we could go draw too. That's where the McLaren will be, I think, in the Drum.
And if we get
If we get a seat, you just put it back and you draw again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we're just eligible.
We can't win 2 seats. Yeah, because I was like, can I hand it to my friend behind me? And it was clarified, no, Kyna, you cannot do that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting. I'm kind of like, that sounds fun. Like,
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
The event itself is going to be good.
WPT's great.
Yeah, the mix of people who are going to play, right? So like you guys are well experienced, but you're going to play against people who have literally never played in a poker tournament before in some regards.
It'll be interesting. You know, I think it'll be fun. I'm going to just be grateful for the experience and have a good time and, you know, hope that Mike wins that $1 million maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Both of you, go heads up, you two. I mean,
That'd be really cool for everybody.
Team
involved.
Poker News.
Hey.
Well, I went through the list of people who have qualified, who have won seats, and we've been doing this the last few weeks, highlighting some of the winners who will be participating in the $5 million free roll. Mentioned Alan Kessler. There's some more. Jared Jaffe's dad, Milton Jaffe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was telling
Got
me
a
that.
seat,
Good for
which I think
him,
is
yeah.
really cool. But here's a little highlight video of the most recent winners. Check it out. Right. Well, there you have it. All those players are going to be playing in the $5 million free roll, not $1 million, $5 million free
Good
roll.
luck, everyone.
I was thinking million because, well, the WPT world champion, reigning Dan Sepiol, is a millionaire again.
Good for him. A
Yeah.
double millionaire.
I mean, yeah, he won like $5 million
A more
last
millionaire.
year.
Yeah.
And now he's won $1 million in a daily fantasy football contest. This took place on Thanksgiving. So this was awesome for me because he won it because of Miami Dolphins, who of course I love, as you know if you watch this show.
Sure.
I was at the game, right? So it was a late meaningless touchdown from Tua to Tyreek, and that was what pushed Dan over to win $1 million, which I don't know. I really like
That's
that
pretty
aspect
sick,
of it.
yeah.
Good
Holy
for
shit.
him.
Yeah, I mean,
He had Tyreek or Tua?
he had Tua.
Tua.
Okay, wow.
You always go with Tua, man. He's good. I thought it was awesome. Like we've talked about him on the show before, how he's just having an amazing. I wouldn't say amazing year because it extends beyond that, but like maybe this 2-year period, has anybody done better, run hotter in poker and I guess in fantasy sports than him?
I mean, when I was coming up, he was a Midwest grinder like
Yeah.
me. We were just buddies, like playing at the Horseshoe, playing the $400, playing the 220 dailies. You know, he was just grinding away with me. He won the MSPT. I think I've mentioned his first big win was that MSPT tournament, and I got third. He busted me, and he just has been hot since then. So go Dan, go.
That boy's smoking hot.
That's where, like there was somebody who said he was the best looking guy in poker. This was like a poll that
Really?
yeah, that this was months ago or
good
6
for
months
you,
ago, but
Danny.
he was up there.
Wow,
so,
go Danny.
yeah.
Good looking guy.
Smoking and looks and charm. He's a nice guy too.
That should be the front thing, the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Dan Sepiol, the hottest guy in poker.
Well, and like you, I played with him on the MSBT back in the Midwest. Like when he was just grinding the 300s or like 1100 MSBT at the time was a big shot
Yeah.
for him. Now he's playing high rollers, and I just
That's
love
good,
to see
Dan,
it.
yeah.
couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Speaking of winners, there was so right now the WPT is taking place at Seminole Hard Rock, and we don't know the winner of the main event as we're recording this, so we'll cover that next week. But there was a $10,000 deep stack tournament that was won by Faraz Jaka, longtime poker pro, Jaka coaching, took it down for $313,000. And he's another guy who has been on fire as of late.
Yeah.
He won a bracelet this past summer.
Yeah. Didn't he win something else too?
Yeah, I think so let's see. We got an article, of course, on Poker News, and there was a good final table. Let's see. He defeated Philip Kierniak in heads-up play. Viet Vo was at that final table. Shannon Shore, he was there, but he was the first one out. I'd have to look up. Let me just look up. You got somebody carry this. What do you like about Faraz Jaka?
Faraz Jaka, I like how personable he is. Actually, my first WSOP I ever went to was like 7 or 8 years ago, and I saw him more than any other poker pro. And every time I said hi the first time, and every time he like waved at me, and yeah, nice dude. I like Faraz. Yeah.
I talked to him in line one time when I was registering the first 5K I played. I was waiting in line, and I was like behind Phil Locke, which was really crazy, and then in front of Faraz Jaka, and he was just friendly, and he said he liked my sweatshirt, and that was small talk.
So he finished second in the 25K heads up this summer. Against Darius Samuel.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
That one was for $300K. He's having a good year. So he's got over $700K in 2024. That is his third highest career total. The last, he had $1 million year in 2012 and a $1.8 million year back in 2009. So he went a long ways there, and he's had good years. He had, $300K, $450K, $550K. So he's steady, but like this is a resurgence, if you will, for Faraz Jaka, which I like to see. He's a nice guy. I'm going to the Bahamas, as I mentioned, and this was a year, maybe 2 years ago, shared a cab from the airport to Paradise Island with him, with just like a nice little fun thing. I don't know. He's one of the guys that I just kind of root for.
He's probably going to the Bahamas too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, makes sense.
He had a fun online poker name, Toilet-O. Speaking of which, this ClubWPT Gold allows you.
That's why me and Faraz are so cool. Yeah, so I was going to make my name Brock Lesnar like I did before on WSOP before they stole it from me. And instead I thought it was a good idea to make my name Toilet Bowl Da Vinci. I paint masterpieces. What can I say?
It's like disgusting when you think about it.
No, it's really gross. It's really gross. But how funny is it? It's going to suck. You're going to be so annoyed when there's 7 people left and you're getting check raised by Toilet Bowl Da Vinci and you're like, how does it keep doing it? It's me.
Well, let's talk about another winner, and that is David Prociak. He's been having a good year as well. He was at the Deep Stack Showdown Series at the Venetian. That ran from about the middle of October to the end of November, and they had 79 events. He won 3 of them.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty impressive. Now, none of them were life-changing scores or anything like that.
They were little ones, right? Like little
they were
nightlies.
smaller. Yeah.
But still, how fun.
Yeah, to win 3 titles in one series, I think that's worth shouting out. He actually won an NAPT mixed game title in between all of it as well.
So very good, yeah.
Like
not
4
bad.
titles in a 1 month period.
Somebody else won 3 titles there as well, right?
Yeah, there was a bunch of people who won 2, and then Sergei Sakian won 3 events as well. Same kind of thing.
Sergey.
All $200 no limit Hold'em bounty tournaments. But even still, I've won 1 Venetian event in my entire career. So to win 3 within a month period, I thought was
it's
pretty cool.
Good stuff. Yeah,
pretty cool.
JJ Liu also
she's
taking
my
down
favorite.
one there. Event number 8 for $4,100. I like her.
I like her
Liu
too,
is,
yeah.
I like her a lot.
She's a character.
She's my favorite.
I like to see what she wears.
Yeah.
No, her outfits are always like so beautiful. It's ridiculous. I'm always like, JJ, girl, you were stunning today.
Well, let's talk one last story. The year is winding down. As I said, we got the WPT World Championship with the WSOP Paradise. EPT Prague is also going to be taking place. Poker News will be there as well. And then we will have at the end of the year, we'll do a top 10 stories episode. But the year will also mark the end of the PokerGO Tour. Now, they do this whole leaderboard throughout the year. All the big buy-in events count for this. And the top 40 finishers then get to go into a $1 million free roll. And I thought it'd be interesting right now just to touch base on where things stand. So if you look at the top 10 there, Jeremy Osmus has been having a hell of a year. He's got 25 cashes that have counted, 5.8 million in earnings. He's number 1 with 2,789 points. Daniel Negreanu sits in second. Some others who are in the top 10, Seth Davies, Michael Rocco, Jesse Lonis. and Jonathan Tomeo. So, I mean, it's going to be 40 people. They're going to go to PokerGo Studio. There are some events that remain, so it actually will spill over into January. There's a PokerGo Tour Last Chance series. There's a Dream Seat Invitational because they do give away some Dream Seats. I mean, you guys should try to win one of those.
I will.
Oh, yeah.
And then they will have the $1 million PokerGo Championship free rolls. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun to just touch base there because I know that means a lot to these guys who grind at the PokerGo Studio. It might not be applicable to us or a lot of the listeners, but like that is the high stakes home game in a lot of regards.
Yeah,
you know?
I've never played there. I mean, I always play a satellite once the series comes around, and I've never gotten one, of course. But it's cool to play in the PokerGo Studio. Like it's something to aspire to. So
let me look right now. So Justin Saliba sits in 40th place. Jonathan Little 39th. So those guys are like right on the bubble. And some people who are right on the outside looking in: Matthew Wantman, Isaac Haxton, Sergio Aedo, Ren Lin, Stephen Chidwick. So there's a lot of
Big
people
names,
who
crushers, Christ.
are going to be looking to sneak their way into that top 40. We'll have to keep an eye on that as 2024 winds down. That's pretty much going to do it. This is an exciting. December's always busy, obviously the holidays, but before that, WPT World Championship, which you guys will be at, WSOP Paradise, EPT Prague. Give me a prediction. Give me some sort of story. Like, what's going to happen?
I'm going to win like at least $1 million.
I was going to say Mike Holtz wins the $5 million free roll.
That does seem
Kyna
accurate
England
to me.
pulls the McLaren car from the barrel.
It seems unlikely. I'm very unlikely.
I'm very good at raffles.
I think whoever pulls it's not going to even get a driver's license.
I'm going to make the prediction that either Phil Ivey or Phil Hellmuth will win a bracelet at WSOP Paradise.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
The Triton series is coming up too, right?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. There's so much. It's hard to keep track of.
Well, you've
I
been
have
seeing
a
tweets
prediction.
about everybody being like, "Can you find me a businessman?" Like, it's
So that's taking place at WSOP Paradise. It's the $500,000 buy-in. Triton is actually partnered with the WSOP Paradise.
Yeah.
And one of the big events is a $500,000 buy-in tournament where a pro can only enter if they get a businessman counterpart.
Yeah.
And Negreanu apparently has found one. I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm very excited to see that event in person.
Wait,
I heard about it.
It's a bracelet event?
Yeah, I believe so. No, wait, it might just be a Triton one.
Okay.
Don't quote me that. I'm not going to look it up right now.
It's a Triton event, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just a Triton.
that
I don't
makes
think
way
it's a
more
bracelet,
sense,
so. But it should be a lot of fun. We'll have highlights from both the WPT World Championship and the WSOP Paradise and probably sneak in some EPT Prague. And until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.